The Big M.
Manufacturing Today, presented by the Big M event, coming to Cobo Center June 9th through the 12th, 2014. Visit BigMEvent.com. Now, here's Paul W. Smith.
I can't believe how close we are now to the big event, the Big M event, Manufacturing Convergence. And you're listening to us on BigMEvent.com or WJR.com. And if you have any questions, just follow the instructions on your screen in front of you and send those questions along, because we are, at this moment, here live for the Big M Blueprint Shaping the Future of Manufacturing, this extraordinary gathering of industry professionals, manufacturers, and policymakers with the shared vision of applying the industry's best thinking to our most complex manufacturing challenges. Now, this is not about starting a discussion. It's about finding real-world solutions by harnessing the collective knowledge of manufacturers across the industries. And that's why we're here today, to learn more about how this conference will impact the manufacturing industry from right here in Detroit to the Great Lakes region and, frankly, around the world. Today, we welcome back Debbie Holton, Director of Events and Industry Strategy at SME, to talk about the Big M Blueprint and how you'll get exclusive access to people and technology that are transforming manufacturing right now. Debbie, nice to see you.
Thanks, Paul.
Joining us today also a world-renowned researcher, Dr. S. Jack Hu, Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Professor of Industrial Operations Engineering, and the Interim Vice President for Research at the University of Michigan. Dr. Hu.
Thank you, Paul.
Very nice having you here. And Joseph Lampinen, Director of America's Engineering Product Group for Kelly Services.
Good morning.
Nice to see you here, Joseph, and from a great company like Kelly Services, a long association with the great state of Michigan. Debbie is the Director of Events and Industry Strategy with SME, 22-year veteran of SME, brings a forward-thinking vision and an expansive strategic and technical understanding of the manufacturing sector and such key industries as aerospace, defense, medical, energy, and transportation. With that vision, you know, there are so many moving parts to the Big M event. True experience for the attendees, not your typical conference. Tell us what you think really sets this apart, Debbie.
Well, the Big M is really an event, but it's more than an event. It's really a movement. Manufacturing is in the process of change and revolution, and it's the combination of all the features of the Big M event, whether it's in the in-depth learning of the conference or some quick hit sessions on the show floor at the M Exchange, or if it's talking to exhibitors and seeing the innovation factories that we have, which are actually live technology demonstrations, little factories that we've built on the floor. There's all kinds of great opportunities for folks to learn and interact and network and look for solutions to the challenges that they're facing every day.
Dr. Hu, a world-renowned researcher, Vice President for Research, overall responsibility for nurturing the excellence and integrity of research across the entire campus, U of M. He oversees the U of M Office of Research, which promotes interdisciplinary research, develops and implements research policy, provides central administrative services in support of faculty research, innovation, and economic outreach, and manages activities related to compliance with the responsible conduct of research. And Dr. Hu has also been appointed the Interim Vice President for Research at U of M, aligning with SME's a key advanced manufacturing partnership, also known as AMP or AMP. The Big M, the Advanced Manufacturing Partnership 2.0 National Meeting, is scheduled from 1 till 5 p.m. on June 9th at Cobo Center. We're on June 9th through the 12th, of course, for the Big M event. Tell us your role in the event, Dr. Hu.
My participation in the Big M actually consists of two parts. One is help to bring the national meeting of the Advanced Manufacturing Partnership to Detroit. The other is U of M is a co-organizer for two of the conferences that are co-located with Big M. The SME North American Manufacturing Research Conference, or NAMRAC, and then the ASME Manufacturing Science and Engineering Research Conference. So come back to AMP. I represent the University of Michigan on the Operations Committee. President Marisol Coleman is on the steering committee. So we are one of the 4-5 universities that are represented on the manufacturing partnership. AMP is a industry, university, community college, public-private partnership that works together to help develop recommendations on manufacturing for the government. We cover technologies, workforce development, infrastructure, and also try to improve the image of manufacturing. So we work on all aspects of manufacturing-related issues.
Joseph Lampinen, Director, America's Engineering Product Group, Kelly Services Incorporated, a certified manufacturing engineer, Director of the Engineering Product Group of Kelly Services Incorporated. As I mentioned, responsible for the strategic development and growth of engineering services in the Midwest and Canada, focusing on manufacturing, engineering, plant facilities, and sustainability. Kelly Services is a world's leader in providing workforce solutions, headquartered right here in Troy, Michigan. And at the Big M event on June 12th, there'll be a panel on critical talent strategies for shaping our future, which focuses on workforce development. And two of Kelly Services leaders will be presenting on the subject of Gen Now, how organizations can understand the different generations in the workplace. What will those presentations include, Joe?
Right. Well, we'll have two of our executives there, Lance Richards and Jason Morga. They'll be presenting on Gen Now, which takes a look at the phenomenon going on in the workplace today. 4 different generations, all present in the workforce, 4 distinct ways that individuals are motivated, attracted to work. And they're going to be talking about the differences in attracting people from the different generations, motivating them, managing them. And it's important for manufacturers in any of the industry verticals to have a good understanding on how to get the most out of their talent.
Is that why Kelly decided to partner with SME on the Big M event?
Well, we've partnered with SME on a number of events. The Big M's important to us because it's bringing all the industry leaders together. We've had a presence in manufacturing and supporting the workforce needs of manufacturers really since the very beginning. The company was founded in 1946, and we've been working with and servicing the needs of manufacturers all along ever since that time.
Dr. Hu, as someone who oversees all of the research at University of Michigan, what are you seeing in your work every day that's improving lives?
There are many things that we do in research that are having both short-term immediate impact as well as long-term impact. Faculty together with their researchers, graduate students, they're creating things that can help save lives. For example, I think we have a 3D printed tracheal implant that can help children who have breathing problems open their airway and then improving lives. We have demonstrated that particular technology on 2 young patients. We're also developing other technologies. For example, in transportation, we just had the groundbreaking of a testing facility that simulates a urban environment. So we'll be testing connected and automated vehicles with connectedness of cars and trucks and bicycles. Then those vehicles will not crash into each other or crash into the infrastructure, for example, so that traffic accident will be reduced by 85 to 90%.
Boy, that's big, and a lot of people have been talking about that. But it's some of that other research that I've been reading about at U of M through being an alum. I get the newsletter, if you will, or magazine. Some of this research with the bionic eyes and night vision contacts, that's very exciting.
Yes, indeed they are. We're also doing a lot of drug discovery. Hopefully someday we will have new medicine that can cure all type of difficult to cure disease, cancer, for example. So a lot of work are going on, and those research are having impact.
And we can see, Debbie Holton, that the Big M event is highlighting several topics in the industry. How about a bit of an overview of the panels and the discussions that we can look forward to come June 9th through the 12th at Cobo Center?
Sure. You know, it's a great gathering of manufacturers, folks from all different types of fields. So within Michigan itself, and this is a Great Lakes region event, but within Michigan itself, you have, of course, automotive, but you also have aerospace and defense, you have agri-food, you have a lot of different types of industries, and those industries share a lot of common challenges and common issues that they're looking to solve. So around innovation, digital factory, what does the Internet of Things mean to the future of manufacturing? manufacturing, big data. How are folks going to handle that and harness that for productivity, sustainability, cybersecurity, lightweighting, which was a big topic at the auto show back in January, the skills gap, right? How are we going to find enough skilled workers to fill the need and to make our country competitive as a manufacturer is very important. So we have a lot of experts in that area. We have folks from Penske, Dana, GE, Steelcase, Dow, Dell, SAP, Deloitte, BASF, Festo, any
many talented speakers and moderators are lined up for this thing.
That's exactly right. And we're very pleased to have Mary Kramer from Cranes, who will be hosting a panel, and then also Nolan Finley, who's the editorial page director of the Detroit News, hosting a manufacturing policy panel where we have the highest ranking manufacturing folks from the Department of Defense, Department of Commerce, Department of Energy, and NASA talking about what the future of manufacturing policy means for our technology development and manufacturers around the country.
Well, as our listeners to the Paul W. Smith Show in the mornings on WJR, they know that Mary Kramer from Cranes is with us every Monday, and Nolan Finley of the Detroit News is with us very often. These are interesting, great people for you to be able to get to be there at the Big M event. Go to bigmevent.com for more information. And by the way, use promo code BIGMWJR within 24 hours to register online to get free exhibit access. How about that? It pays to listen, doesn't it? Use promo code BIGMWJR within 24 hours to register online to get free exhibit access. I should say it pays to listen and to watch as well with our webcast now live here on WJR.com, BigMEvent.com. Nice to have you with us as we have welcomed in Debbie Holton, Director of Events and Industry Strategy at SME, Dr. S. Jack Hu, Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Professor of Industrial and Operations Engineering, appointed the Interim Vice President for Research at the University of Michigan, and Joseph Lampinen, Director, America's Engineering Product Group for Kelly Services. How's that business been going? You know, as the economy goes, it's kind of an interesting mix where some companies are not in a position to hire full-time employees for a variety of reasons. The business booms then for Kelly Services.
Well, business has been strong for us with manufacturing accounts really across the country and in a lot of different industry verticals. I'm in the engineering section at Kelly, and our business is very strong in research and development and new product development, as well as in process and manufacturing engineering itself. Different industries, you know, it's not like you can wave a hand across and say all industries have the same issues, but all industries have some issues when it comes to acquiring talent and finding the people they need.
Well, there's a definite skills gap that manufacturing faces today. How's Kelly Services helping close that gap? Well,
we're doing a few things. You know, a lot of our clients come to us and want our help in finding full-time staff employees. Of course, our original business is in temporary help, and that's still the largest part of our business. We also have a large consulting business, our outsourcing and consulting group. And one of the issues that companies have these days is invisibility of their whole workforce. We take a holistic view of the workforce. So staff employees, temporary workers, independent contractors, technical services companies and consultants, retirees, interns, and we take a look at that whole broad swath of workers who are deployed for a manufacturer or business. We refer to it as talent supply chain management, and that's what a lot of our clients, our manufacturing clients, are coming to us for at this point.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask Dr. Hu about something that I see on the schedule here, Thursday, June 12th. Remember, the Big M event is happening June 9th through the 12th at Cobo Center, and you go to bigmevent.com for more information, where many of you are right now. But I see on June 12th the WU Symposium session on manufacturing competitiveness at the Big M event. What is the significance of the symposium? And I can't help but to look forward to saying, Dr. Hu, tell me about WU.
S.M. Wu was a very distinguished professor at Michigan. He was there for about 5-6 years and then died in 1992. But he educated many students who are now on the faculty across the country. I think we have a rough estimate, if you count students of his and his students, and students. So many generations of students that have ties to SMWU. So those are faculty who are doing manufacturing research and education. So the Wu Symposium was named after him. This particular discussion, I think we'll have policy discussions on manufacturing competitiveness, workforce development, education-related reforms at the colleges and schools and so on. So I think you will attract many faculty members from across the country and as well as graduate students who are interested in manufacturing research and education.
I think it's pretty clear from our conversations here with our Big M events and our podcasts that there's a kind of a crossroads for manufacturers today. Some are going to react to the industry changes, some are going to be a part of making the changes, and some, frankly, are going to be bowled over by the changes. I would think, Debbie Holton, that being a part of this symposium, a part of this event, would help you be one of the latters or one of the formers and not the latter, either reacting or being a part of making the changes rather than being bowled over by them.
That's right, and that's what we're really encouraging everyone to do. One of our taglines for this event is take your seat at the table. So you want to be at the table when the future is laid out so that you have a say in that, so that your voice is heard, so that you know what's happening and you can respond to that in a proactive way. So we're really providing folks with the tools and opportunities they need, the people they need to talk to prepare their business for the future. The heart of manufacturing, although we mention a lot of Fortune 500 companies, the heart of manufacturing in this region is small and medium-sized businesses. Mm-hmm. So those folks really need the resources, they need the help, they need the technology, they need the skilled workers, and we're there to help them as well.
Dr. Hu or Mr. Lampinen, either of you want to weigh in on that as well? This is there are rapid advancements in technology, a crossroad for manufacturers. You either be a part of the change or maybe you get caught unaware. Any thoughts?
Well, I'd say there, like many advancements, there are early adopters and others that are taking a wait-and-see approach. There, in smaller markets, smaller towns, there are small to mid-sized businesses that maybe don't feel they have the wherewithal to make an impact or to take a stand, and we're seeing some consortiums develop where smaller manufacturers in certain markets are banding together to follow an approach or follow what they see industry leaders, the direction it's being set.
Definitely, I agree that manufacturing is at a crossroad in the U.S. Mm-hmm. If you just think...
Not so around the world?
Not so around the world, I would say.
Explain that to me. Help me better understand
Let's just visit where manufacturing was in 2010 and 2011. Mm-hmm. I think we faced several challenges around that time. One is employment, right? We lost a lot of jobs in the manufacturing sector. Second, I think manufacturing had an image that is not very enticing to young people using manufacturing as a career. The third thing I think is most people didn't realize, but I think it's a problem in the U.S. We're very good with innovation, discovery, and science, but many of the things that we invent, they are not produced here. For example, computers started producing here, but now very few.
Any number of things that were,
so high-tech
discovered, developed, created here, and then we find it going offshore for
That's exactly right.
lowering costs.
Things that are invented here, but they're not produced here. So I think we're changing all those now with the abundance of natural gas and low-cost energy. I think labor cost in the U.S. is no longer as high as it used to be. Other countries' cost of labor is going up. So that actually make U.S. quite competitive in terms of manufacturing jobs and manufacturing employment. With Advanced Manufacturing Partnership, I think the government is helping to create shared infrastructure. The National Network for Manufacturing Innovation, for example, those are regional innovation hubs that support manufacturing innovation. So we hope many technologies that develop in universities and government labs will translate into products and production in the U.S. We're also trying to improve the image of manufacturing, so we hope young people will have their careers in manufacturing, not just as short-term jobs, but manufacturing is truly an exciting, impactful career.
You know, that's interesting. It's twice you mentioned about the young people and the image, and I know Kelly Services has had to help manufacturing leaders understand the generational differences of today's workforce. Talk to us a little bit about that, Joseph.
Yeah. Well, there is, as the doctor said, a perception at least that there's an image problem in manufacturing and a kind of an outdated view of manufacturing plants and factories as being hot, dirty, uncomfortable. And as we've seen before in this series, and as we know from working in manufacturing, the modern manufacturing plant is, I think one of the earlier speakers said you could eat off the floor at one of the assembly plants in town. And I think that's really the message that needs to get out. The other thing is, there's this issue of trust. If I go into manufacturing, is that job going to be there in the future? And I think the answer to that is to talk about the reasons why manufacturing is coming back, why manufacturing is reshoring, why manufacturing is a good career. Talk about the forces behind manufacturing as opposed to just saying, kind of blindly, hey, it's a good place to work. Why is it?
Why is it a good place to work?
Well, the doctor mentioned some of the issues: lower cost energy, the availability of trainable workforce, the availability of high technology that can be deployed in plants across the country, and manufacturers generally like to produce close to their customer to lower the cost of transportation wherever they can.
Mm-hmm. Debbie, what with all of this being said, what's happening at the Big M event, June 9th through the 12th at Cobo Center, that reaches out to students in terms of education? And we talk about STEM education a lot and how important STEM education is to the manufacturing industry, but give us a little overview.
Mm-hmm. Well, we like to call it STEM squared, which adds an extra M, and the M's for manufacturing.
I bet they like that in A squared, don't they?
For sure, right?
Yeah, all right.
For sure. Well, Thursday is our student day at the Big M, and it's really important for manufacturers to get behind this because the cost of losing skilled laborers is significant on the bottom line of manufacturing organizations. There's a recent study that came out from Accenture that talks about organizations losing up to 10% of their earnings because they don't have these jobs filled. So we have to start early. We have to get kids interested in manufacturing to show them that it's a knowledge industry where creativity is sought and valued, where all those computer skills they've been using are very valuable. And we have a student day on Thursday where we're bringing in some folks from Detroit Public Schools, from the Michigan Engineering Zone, which...
How young?
High schoolers, middle schoolers.
Okay, I was going to say, because we have to even start before high school.
Yep,
which it took a long time for people to figure out. When Dean Kamen first came on my regular show to talk about this idea that he had first for inspiration in research, science, technology, whatever it was then, and still is. They started at the older grades, and now it's gone to those younger grades because everybody's figured that out, and we have to do the same thing with this. So you do have some middle schoolers.
We do have middle schoolers, and we love to see those 6th, 7th, 8th graders going through the event and looking at the technology.
The enthusiasm in science and technology is I've said it so many times, but the enthusiasm that we have in sports in this country, we need to hoist those kids up on our shoulders and say we're number one as well in science and technology, or we will be left behind in the world.
That's right. And think about, all the fun projects you do in elementary and middle school, and then all of a sudden they take your glue away in high school. You don't get to make anything anymore. And that's the fun part. We have to show kids how fun it is to make things and to really see that instant gratification of their products right there, driving down the road or flying in the air. So many great ideas that we need from this future generation to be competitive and innovative.
I'm going to set up a T-shirt table at the event. They didn't get my glue. Well, it is all about the youth, the younger people, and for them to understand that it is not a dirty, go-nowhere business. It's a very exciting field. Worldwide, you have skills that can take you basically wherever you want to go. Sky's the limit, and no kidding there, right, Dr. Who?
That's exactly right. So we will also be pushing for the National Manufacturing Day during the Big M event. So National Manufacturing Day is an activity where companies can open their doors students from middle school, high school, colleges, and parents. They can all sign on to visit their selected companies. So if you want to find out more about Manufacturing Day, I think the website is mfgday.com. So company can sign on and open their doors to show what they do in the exciting area of design, manufacturing, innovation.
mfgday.com. And
That's right.
Really the big one is bigmevent.com. And from there you can probably learn lots of things, but also right up your alley, Dr. Hu, and this is being talked about. We started talking about it at the North American International Auto Show, and it's true throughout all of industry. The advanced materials and the light weighting that is so very important. In fact, you have the Lightweighting Resource Center, which certainly is going to impact manufacturing and manufacturers. Tell us a little bit about that, Doctor.
So lightweighting in transportation is very important. In the car industry, I think every company is working on that. The empirical data shows that every 10% reduction in the mass or in the weight can lead to a 7% improvement in fuel efficiency. So that is a very, very established correlation between weight reduction or mass reduction and then the fuel efficiency. The particular thing that we're launching in the Detroit area is the American Lightweight Materials Manufacturing Innovation Institute, which is one of the 4 institutes that's established by the government together with industry and universities. The institute we have are led by the University of Michigan, Ohio State, and EWI. So we will have a site somewhere in the Detroit area.
This is kind of an announcement, isn't it? I mean, this is...
the final site will be announced soon, hopefully sometime this week. If not this week, will be early Monday next week.
All right. So Dr. Hu has announced American Lightweight Materials Manufacturing Institute.
Manufacturing Innovation Institute.
Institute. Right. All right. And, this light weighting is so huge. In fact, I said that was, if there were 2 words... or I don't know if it's 1 word, actually.
At
the North American International Auto Show, I said it's lightweight because everything, they were trying to find, from the gas cap to everything, anything they could take weight away from was a savings.
That's right.
And with that has to come advanced materials, because you also need the strength that you always have depended on. Good old steel in the past, and now steel is still a part of it, but so many other materials.
That's right. So new materials and then new processing technologies, including how materials are formed and then how the different materials are joined together. If the materials consist of different combinations, for example, carbon fiber composite, aluminum frame, then they have to be joined together. And we need innovation on the new joining technologies.
Debbie, we're closing out this final broadcast before the biggie, the Big M event, June 9th through the 12th at Cobo Center at bigmevent.com. It's not too late for people to get involved. Put out the call to invite people to be there and to be a part of it.
That's right. We'd really love to welcome everyone who's a stakeholder in manufacturing. You don't necessarily have to be an engineer or a shop owner. You could be a consultant, you could be a banker, you could be all kinds of things, an investor, looking to find out what's happening in manufacturing. And we would really invite the whole community to come down, to be part of the Big M, to take their seat at the table, and help us plant the flag in the moon in Detroit and proclaim it the capital of Great Lakes manufacturing, because that's what we're trying to do.
Well, let's just proclaim it as the Great Lakes capital of let's just do it.
It is.
If we should have learned something, the guys that called it the North American International Auto Show were the first people to say it, and the first person who says it gets it. So say it. Make the announcement here on this webcast.
Detroit is the capital of Great Lakes manufacturing. Declared now.
You can take that to the bank, and you heard it here first on our Big M Webcast. Oh, the power you have, Debbie Holton, Director of Industry Strategy and Events for SME. Thank you for all of this and all of your support and your whole team. We appreciate it very, very much. Dr. Hu, Vice President of Research, overall responsibility for nurturing the excellence and integrity of research across the entire campus at U of M, and as a proud U of M grad, I thank you specifically, Dr. Hu, for being the world-renowned researcher, professor of mechanical engineering Professor of Industrial Operations, University of Michigan. God bless you for the work you do.
Thank you so much.
And for you, Joseph Lampinen, Director of America's Engineering Product Group, Kelly Services Incorporated. Kelly Services has been such a great neighbor in the great state of Michigan for a very, very long... How many years now?
Well, since 1946.
It's been a very long time. I mean, I grew up hearing about Kelly Services on this very radio station, on WJR, matter of fact. Thanks for all you do and all you're doing also for the Big M event. For more information on the Big M event happening June 9th through the 12th at Cobo Center, log on to BigMEvent.com. Exhibitors, panel discussions, the M Exchange, plant tours, and more. Available and updated daily. Follow the Big M on Twitter and like the Big M on Facebook, because we like you. I'll talk to you in the mornings, 5:30 till 9 on WJR. Regards, Paul W. Smith.